Namaste everyone. This is not a podcast, but a Vārtalāap, where it's all about curiosity. And I'm your host, Yash Tomar. So, welcome back everyone. This is episode number 94th of Vārtalāap. We have with us Narahari. So, basically, I got to know about your stuff which you are doing with the studio, Rhythm Studio, from Ankit Shah's live. So, can you basically tell me what is dharmic storytelling? Because that's how I like the bulb in me flicked.
Got it. Hey, so first of all, thank you for having me, Yash. So I'll just give a very quick background about myself, a quick story behind how all this started, and then I'll get into what is Rhythm Studios.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
so I'm a computer science engineer, and I built two companies. One was UPI payments company, and I built that and I got it acquired. And right now I'm working on a ONDC logistics company. While I'm building this logistics company on the side, it was very important for me to sort of realize a lot of things that are happening, especially in the domain of cultural storytelling today. And that's how I started Rhythm Studios. So the story behind it is actually pretty interesting. So me and my brother, when we were young, it was a daily routine for us to sit in front of my granddad. I come from a very traditional, culturally rooted South Indian family in Bangalore.
Okay, where specifically are you from?
In Bangalore, I'm from Bangalore.
Okay, okay.
So it was a usual routine for me and my brother while we were young to do Veda Parayanam on a daily basis, and it went on for almost 6 to 8 years. So every morning it was a usual routine for us to sit in front of our granddad, and my granddad used to teach us, and we used to repeat the Veda Parayanam. So that sort of remained as a core memory for both me and my brother. And unfortunately, the life took over, responsibilities took over, and we couldn't sort of continue that. But that definitely remained as a core memory. And while I was building my other startups, I saw a lot of people around me, like extremely successful people, uh, people who are like crazy behind money all the time, who they act as if the entire purpose of life is to build wealth. And you know that's the sort of hyper capitalism that I saw. And I was almost disgusted with such behaviors that was happening around me. And recently I also saw a lot of my friends, especially the kids, getting hooked to content like Peppa Pig and Cocomelon and all that on YouTube. If you look at them, I mean, they don't have any sort of cultural significance, or it doesn't deliver any value as such, right? So that was sort of depressing for me, because we are such a nice culture, having so much of a rich history, having so many brilliant characters in our itihasas, puranas, and all our cultural stories, right? Which has a lot of value that it can actually bring out, especially in the when the storytelling is done right. And I also very fondly remember my grandma telling me stories. So in Karnataka especially, there is a story of cow, how it basically gets attacked by a tiger, and in spite of having a small kid, it sort of accepts its fate and goes back to the tiger, right? It's called uh, it's one second, hold on, I'll just have to probably Google it. It's a very nice story, basically. So our childhood was completely filled with such cultural stories, and suddenly we are seeing because of especially today because of Instagram and all our social media, all the crap that we intend to we are using it, right? It has
Yeah, the
completely
brain
become
rot.
just, yeah, brain rot, exactly. It's completely become like addictive, right? I see a lot of people, in fact, a lot of not just young people but also old people are like sort of getting addicted to this social media. And it's definitely, it's like they say, it's just attention economy, right? So they're just trying to grab your attention away, um, which is sort of very, very sad, right? And I sort of remembered all my memories that I had as a kid, with all the stories that I used to listen, etc. um, and what I realized was, if the current state of affairs continue with respect to the storytelling, how it is happening in social media today, etc., there are several problems. In fact, number one problem is all content that we consume today. Most of them are Eurocentric in nature. Uh, Basically, all the narratives that we are fed on social media are completely driven by Western, Eurocentric narratives, and that is really, really sad. And secondly, if you see the the entertain all the content right now is only for this purpose of entertainment, right? There is no value that is getting delivered, and that's the problem. And if you look at the West, how they sort of built studios like Disney and Marvel, etc., they all started with some comic books, like maybe in 1960s or 70s, and then they used those characters, built those characters, uh, you know, and created an entire universe out of it, right? And all those are fictional characters. When you just contrast that with what we have as a culture, I mean, we have like tremendous characters in our itihasas and Puranas, and nowadays a lot of people are trying to tell our stories on social media. But again, the problem over there that I saw was that there is a lack of authenticity, right? Now, because a lot of content creators have access to AI, right? So you can generate videos, you can generate text, you can, in the future, you can also generate worlds. What will happen essentially is, um, since it is a technology that anybody can use, the content that gets out is not necessarily very authentic, right? So that is one very real problem that we are seeing today, and that is something that we intend to solve through Rhythm Studios. So Rhythm Studios, to summarize, is basically an immersive storytelling platform, right? So today you have content that is delivered in the format of videos or in the form of books, in the form of podcasts, etc. Uh, but they're not very immersive in nature. At the max, it's just a 2D video, right? But if you look at the technologies that are there today and how it is progressing, we are moving into the world of immersive technologies, right? So be it augmented reality or virtual reality, that is what is missing today in storytelling, right? And what Rhythm Studios intends to do is basically build a cultural storytelling engine which enables creators and storytellers with the immersive technologies of the future, like virtual reality and augmented reality. So, just to give you an example, imagine today you're reading a comic book. All right. So, let's say it is a book, based on Krishna's life or whatever. It's a comic book and it has very nice illustrations. It has a lot of characters, etc. Now, instead of just watching those characters and you reading it, imagine those characters come alive in 3D, right? And you actually can interact with those characters, and you can speak with that character, and the character between, let's say there are two characters and there's a story or a dialogue happening. Instead of you just reading it, those characters actually come alive and they are interacting with each other, and you can also interact with it, right? So that is the future of storytelling that we want to enable, for dharmic or cultural content creators, which is missing today. And that's very high level brief of what we are trying to do with Rhythm.
I mean, it is amazing. I think not many people are doing the dharmic stuff lately. They're just chasing the cheap dopamine, both the creators and the consumers.
That's right.
I want to ask you, the Rhythm Studio, are you more focused on the dharmic part or the VR part? I mean, if you have to choose.
So I don't think so. There is to be very frank, there's no segregation for me as such. Not one is more important than the other, right? So Our cultural stories are powerful as it is already, all right. But the thing that is sort of missing is the immersiveness, right? So if you go
Okay.
back, let's say a couple of 100 years ago, and if you see how these cultural stories were actually told, they were they were done in a very, immersive sort of a setting, right? So essentially, there is an entire tradition of storytelling, or they basically in the form of pravachanas, and in the form of actually people who their entire families were trained for doing storytelling, all right. This used to be a part of our culture, and it used to be a very immersive experience, right? And what used to happen is these stories themselves used to contain a lot of knowledge embedded in them, right? And because the people are like sort of experiencing those storytelling sequences, they tend to remember it. And that is exactly why, if you look at our culture also, a large bulk of our knowledge base has been transmitted by oral traditions, not by written
Yeah.
traditions. The written traditions came way later, right? That's because you whenever you have that sort of multi-sensory experience, both audio and visual, and being a part of a particular setting, the experience that you get out of it sort of embeds the knowledge in that, very deeply ingrained in you, which is what is missing today, right? Because the at the max, what you will do is probably scroll on Instagram, watch a reel, and never revisit it again, probably, right? And so it's a very fleeting sort of an experience. So that experience is what I really feel should be brought back, and today it is possible to scale that, to deliver that experience at scale using immersive technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality. And coming to the dharmic aspect, see, uh, I believe there is nothing more powerful than our cultural stories, right? Our Indic knowledge systems, what they have called, they're calling as Indic. I don't like to call it Indic knowledge systems. In fact, we have to rename it as Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, right?
Yeah.
Um, so we have a lot of content across all, whatever you can imagine, right? So be it astronomy, astrology, be it mathematics, be it art, be it aesthetics, architecture, we have, like, content so rich in all the different domains, right? But the problem with the existing set of creators, who might be domain experts, scholars, researchers, authors, etc., in this domain, in all these domains, they are limited in terms of the form factor, or in terms of the way they are basically creating their content, right? uh, our idea here with Rhythm is to basically combine both modern technology, right, with VR, AR, and also we're building a lot of AI. I'll talk about AI part a little bit later. The idea is to combine immersive technologies with cultural storytelling so that it becomes very, very engaging and immersive for a lot of people, especially the young adults, kids, and we want to scale it, in a way which is accessible to a lot of people. So this is going to be in the format of phygital, what we're calling as phygital, which is going to be a combination of both physical books as well as augmented reality experiences born out of the books.
Yeah. I mean, I get your point. So, like to summarize your answer, basically, you wanna balance both of the technological aspect and the dharmic aspect.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. But to explain my question, basically, I think uh, only the dharmic aspect would be like comics, books, and also the VR stuff. And the technological aspect would be the VR stuff and augmented and using it with AI. So I get your point. What you are trying to do, you are trying to do the immersion with technology, keeping the dharmic aspect on it. But like, I would just like to suggest, if there's a video sort of a thing, which is immersive when you wanna create it, do also do it in the more traditional way, as in to document it in a book of sorts. For
Hmm.
example, if you do a sort of a YouTube series in
Mhm.
which you are doing the VR stuff and all, do try to do it also in the comic book sort of a way. if you get my point.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So today,
Yeah,
if you go to Instagram and YouTube, right, there are a lot of dharmic creators, right, or cultural storytellers who are brilliant at storytelling, right? And again, here there is a mixed basket. If you see, there are a lot of very, very popular storytellers, right, cultural creators as well. They do really good work in terms of representing our culture, etc. But not a lot of time. It's definitely not authentic.
yeah,
As how it has to be represented according to our scriptures, etc. Um, but there are also a lot of creators who are doing amazing, culturally accurate and authentic work, but they're not able to reach a lot of audience. I think one of the
yeah.
best examples that I could, right off the bat remember is 21 Notes Ramayana. If you have heard of it, you definitely have to check that YouTube channel. So,
Okay.
what the person has basically done is gone into the critical edition of Ramayana, right? And he's done a lot of research and very simple and beautiful sort of basic animations. He has uh, completely narrated Ramayana the way actually Valmiki wanted us to hear it, right? Because it's taken directly from the critical edition. So that sort of content, for example, is not gaining the kind of traction and kind of viewership and engagement as it deserves, right? That is exactly what we're trying to change here. So what will happen is, even if the content is in the form of YouTube videos or Instagram reels or whatever, we'll be able to convert those. We'll be able to help them convert those into phygital products. So what I mean by phygital products is, let's say there is, for the example, 21 Notes Ramayana, right? So it's a 8 or 10 season of very neat storytelling of complete Ramayana, right? Now, instead of just watching that as a video, what if we could actually convert that into a comic book format or a storybook format, right?
Yeah,
And yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. So you can just go to playlist and you could probably show the audience. Yeah. So with very simple, basic characterization, basic animation, he has beautifully explained the entire Ramayana, right? So imagine taking this entire work, the entire narration as is, without having to change any of the things. We basically create a physical product out of it.
yeah,
We basically create a physical book, right, on which we embed the augmented reality technology. So technically what will happen is, just to showcase, you're able to see this particular brochure, right, and you're able to see these three characters here, right?
yeah,
What I mean by augmented reality technology, how it usually works is basically, um, if you open your camera on your phone or a tablet and just point on the characters over here, these three characters will actually come alive, pop out of this book, right? And they basically do the storytelling. They speak with you. You can speak with it. You can interact. You can ask questions about the story itself, right? And there will be a very rich audio visual narrative that will be happening with animations and all of that, which is like, coming out of the book, popping out of the book. That is what is augmented reality as a technology, just to give you an example. So we could help these creators productize their existing work, right? And reach out to their own existing viewers or subscribers, because now these people are depending on, let's say, YouTube ad revenues, or probably some brand sponsorship which they embed in their videos in order to earn money. But what if we could productize their existing work into something tangible which they can sell to their own audience? That way they can also monetize and also provide a very rich experience, very engaging experience of their own work, and also unlock one revenue stream for them. So that way we are enabling creators as well, including the ones who are on YouTube, Instagram, etc., if they want to like productize their content.
yeah. I mean, it is very cool to see people doing this stuff. A series of short questions, basically. Do you
Sure.
think VR is the future? Because like
Mhm.
around 10 to 15 years, we were imagining
Mhm.
instead of phone, everyone will be having a VR goggle
Mhm.
sort of a thing, and
Mhm.
right now it is not possible. So, do you think it would be interactive enough, and like the more masses can get influenced by it? A short brief explanation.
Yeah, yeah. So Especially virtual reality as the technology stands today, we are in fact seeing a lot of improvements. So 5 to 8 years back, we hadn't seen the kind of developments that have happened in fact today. Right? If you look
Yeah.
at Meta Quest 3, the latest device, the headset that they have launched, um, that is the flagship device which is available, and also Apple's own Vision Pro, I guess,
Yeah.
is one of the flagship devices. Right now, the problem with virtual reality headsets, right, is that number one, its form factor, which is very, very bulky.
Yeah.
Um, and therefore, right now in India, because of the pricing, etc., it's not at all penetrated the market. Right? A lot of people have virtual reality devices. But that is changing very, very quickly. In fact, we are seeing a lot of developments happening in this space, wherein we are seeing augmented reality glasses, for example, mixed reality glasses like the one that you and I are wearing, that will be embedded with XR in the very near future, right? And we are also seeing a few of them with Ray-Ban, etc., which have already come out in partnership with Meta. Uh, but definitely there is a huge improvement happening in this technology, and at least from whatever I can see, they're saying that in the next 8 to 10 years, our phone screens, the dependence on our phone screens is going to go down, and our glasses are going to become smarter. So imagine you wearing
Yeah.
smart glasses, and you basically consuming mixed reality content directly without having to use a phone screen or anything like that. So I believe that is the future, and our technology that we are building on AR and VR essentially is going to like ride on that future improvements.
Yeah. So two questions, sprouted off from this. Do you think Neuralink will be more effective in this VR stuff? Because
You
right
mean
now it is
the
just like in the baby steps.
Yeah, you mean the brain interface that Elon Musk is
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah,
I think it's still probably 20, 30 years away. I don't think so. Right now, I think they're definitely planning it only for the medical use cases, right? So,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
for people who have, in fact, right now they're exploring Neuralink for vision loss. Um, I think till now they were targeting people who, in order to, they're just doing use cases, exploring use cases and proving that it'll work. But I think mass adoption is still way long. I mean, I think it's probably 20, 30 years away, is what I feel. I don't think so. Neuralink as a technology will be like available at scale anytime in the next 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is a fact, but I think it would be more widespread rather than the goggles or the glasses, even, I guess, because it would be very, very immersive, and similarly, like the dystopian stuff in the series Black Mirror, right? If you have seen that.
Yeah, so they're saying that they have the capability to sort of map your thoughts, and then basically, if you're, let's say, thinking about an apple in your mind, they basically
Yeah, yeah,
can you read the neurons and the electrical signals that is firing while you're thinking of that, and they sort of can understand that, hey, you're thinking about apple. I mean, it's a fascinating technology, no doubt, but I don't think so it'll become mainstream in the next 20, 30
yeah.
years.
Definitely, definitely. But
Yeah.
it is very awesome if we can uh, do that immersiveness in that aspect also. And there was also a study in Japan, I guess, in which they were able to visualize the dreams of people sleeping. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, that's
remember the
right.
full thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, fascinating, studies are happening, but I really feel one thing, no matter what humans might crack in the name of technology, like reading minds and, showing the dreams essays. But one thing which science, the modern science or the modern technology as such, cannot sort of figure out, I really feel, in spite of so much progress happening in AI, and they're saying that AGI is coming and ASI is also eventually going to come, etc.,
Mm,
is
yeah,
that they will never ever understand qualia, or what is basically first person perspective of having the experience, right? So
definitely.
basically consciousness. They are saying that AGI will be conscious and all that, but it's not something which is how we are having the first person experience, right? So I have a separate feeling when I see red color, right? So will the AI also have the similar sort of inner first person experience? what we call consciousness or awareness, for example. I don't think so. Technology can ever come close to that. I don't think so. They will be able to crack consciousness.
Yeah, the thing is with AGI, I guess it is still very far off. People still say it is like coming in an year or two, but AGI is very, very far, and I don't think we will be able to make AGI right now with the type of uh, processes or the steps we have right now for AI. And
Hmm.
secondly, I also don't think it would be conscious in that way. It can be very
Hmm.
smart, but it can't be conscious and like in a sense can be aware of what it is saying.
Yeah.
And on the aspect of experiential stuff, I guess
Mhm.
uh, VR is a very good thing, but we can also try that experience on the 2D surface, because like there are many games which are heavy on the storytelling part and which are very immersive. So I
Correct.
guess that would be also a very good field to explore.
Yeah. So essentially, whatever format the new gen, right, would like to consume their content in, right, we want to like build all those experiences, but
Yeah,
we want to sort of limit ourselves to cultural storytelling, um, because the world sort of, I think, at least here in India, we are fed up of Eurocentric narratives, and I think it is
definitely.
time that we give the kind of attention and the kind of you know respect that our cultural stories deserve.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, can you tell me the specific word which you and your granddad discussed? I mean, I didn't get it, I guess.
Okay, so essentially, when we were young, right? So me and my brother, it was our daily routine to basically sit in front of our granddad, and we basically did Veda Parayanam. So
Okay, yeah, explain that, please.
okay. So Veda Parayanam is essentially, you have a certain set of Veda mantras, right, that you recite on a daily basis. So, for example, Atharva Shirsham or Ganesha Atharva Shirsham is one of the very popular shlokas or Veda mantras, um, which is recited for Ganesha, for example, right? So similarly, there are various other popular mantras that are there in our Vedas as a bulk, right? So we basically used to do this Parayanam. So Parayanam essentially means practice or doing the sadhana of repetitive learning, so that it gets ingrained in our memory.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what we used to do, and that sort of remained as a core memory, which sort of helped me connect back with my cultural roots, and it definitely helped me with understanding a lot of philosophical stuff as well at later point in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe the initial step which led to you to make this studio, right?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the triggers. Absolutely,
Yeah. I mean, you should always find the triggers so that you can access them better and maybe help others also. So
absolutely.
I try to bring that out. Can you explain in brief what is the neurocentric narrative and why we should fight it in our own dharmic aspect?
Absolutely. So, if you look at the lot of developments that have happened, the modern, scientific developments, as you may call it today, and if you see the who is who of, the scientists, right, that actually brought out a lot of research and the new frontier of discoveries of science, etc. Um, be it Schrodinger or be it Emerson or whoever. So they were all sort of inspired by our Eastern philosophy, especially our Indian philosophy of Vedanta, right? I'm sure you saw the movie that recently came out about that nuclear bomb. I forget the person's name.
Oppenheimer,
Um,
right?
Oppenheimer, yeah. So Oppenheimer as well has sort of quoted Bhagavad Gita, and he was a very well versed in Sanskrit, etc. So if you look at the modern scientific developments that have happened, right, a lot of those uh, directly or indirectly have been inspired from our own Indic knowledge systems or Bharatiya Gnana Parampara, right? So all
Yeah.
these huge, big, scientists and the popular ones, etc., have actually borrowed from that, huge fountain of Bharatiya Gnana Parampara, actually. So, but what is happening is the West or the Eurocentric narratives that are going out today, if you see, they basically are sort of trying to hijack all our knowledge systems that were there and make it their own, right? So they're trying to sort of create IPs based on this and and showcase that, hey, it is our discovery. No, there are a lot of stuff which are in fact our own, born out of this great land. So this is one of the, in fact, if you look at George Lucas movies that he did, the Star Wars, which is sort of one of the cult following, right? That
Yeah.
also has a lot of concepts which is borrowed from our Vedanta, and he himself
Hmm.
has written about it. In fact, so what has happened is, number one, there is a lack of acknowledgement to the fact that a lot of the new age modern technology developments, etc., have been sort of inspired at least from our Bharatiya Gnana Parampara. At least the foundation were laid because we had a huge culture of like amazing thinkers and acharyas who have dived deep into these metaphysical and uh, in fact even mathematics, astrology, no name or whatever domain we had, like legends in our culture who have contributed a lot. So we as a modern society in fact are standing on the foundation that our ancestors have laid, right? So which is not being acknowledged today. So, and in fact that is being hijacked by the West, so which is what I call as Eurocentric. And one more perspective to Eurocentric content is that the because of the hegemony of the dollar that started, I'm pretty sure you know about it because you are yourself a follower of Ankit, and the way he explains is brilliant. So
Yeah.
because of that, it's the kind of content that is thrown around and people who consume it sort of subtly propagates, content which sort of deteriorates family values, right? It's all about individualism, it's all about money, it's all about wealth, uh, devoid of any values, etc., which is deteriorating our society at large. So this is what I call as Eurocentric content. And in fact, a lot of AI models today, the foundational models, the data that on which it is trained on, the knowledge basis on which it is trained on, is completely Eurocentric. And that is the huge gap that we are trying to also sort of solve in Rhythm Studios, wherein we are building certain uh, AI agents, which is trained on Bharatiya, a knowledge base from Bharatiya Gnana Parampara. So, in fact, we have partnered with several other, Indic organizations, uh, which basically are creating this huge cultural database, including the likes of IIT Bombay, Brihat, etc. So we intend to make use of those cultural knowledge bases and create AI agents, using which we can basically bring back these historical and itihasa characters alive, wherein you can interact and learn from them.
Yeah. I mean, this. One sec, I'll share. I guess this particular story was discussed by me and my guest
Mhm.
on the Raksha Bandhan episode,
Mhm.
like the
Mhm.
stories about Raksha Bandhan. So I guess I will connect you with him also. He has a
Mhm.
loads and loads of stories because he is well versed
Mhm.
in the Vedic stuff and all.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's why I recognize this, and I guess we also cut a clip so that I think we can collaborate also on that aspect with
Absolutely, would
him
love to.
mainly. Yeah.
Would love to. Would love to.
Yeah. So from what I get from your perspective, basically, very loosely speaking, Britishers took all our money, and before that also, the when the Roman Empire fell, the all the wealth was shifted in the Vatican City, and to expand, they had to conquer America, and that's why the America became the capitalistic machine,
Right.
and the hegemony came,
Right.
very very loosely speaking. So
Yeah.
all of the things, all of the I mean innovation was done in the 1990s by them, uh,
Hmm.
the European and the American people, and they were able to make the narrative and the carve the narrative in a lot of people, I guess.
Correct.
So that's why I think we do have a requirement to spread the dharmic sort of a thing in a more lively and loud way, I guess, to bring back,
Absolutely.
to to make people realize we are in fact a 5,000 years plus civilization.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I definitely agree with that. And also, if you look at what Modi ji and Putin also sort of have given a call in SEO summit that recently happened, is to create a sort of cultural collective
Yeah,
in order to make sure that we preserve our civilizational, tradition and heritage and values and so on. I think that is there is no other bigger signal that we are getting, right. So from the leaders, of this entire shift of narrative that is going to definitely happen. So it's going to the centers of power is definitely shifting from the west to the east, and I'm pretty sure India is going to be in the forefront of that transition. And I think that is where our cultural stories, our itihasas and puranas, and our recent history, in fact, all the the difficulties we went through as a civilization, etc. Those are the stories that needs to be brought back into the popular memory of the society, and that is where we intend to create some bit of impact with Rhythm Studios.
yeah. I mean, it is a very well thought out of a plan, I guess, with what Modi ji is planning with 2047. And I
Absolutely.
guess in the latest announcement they did that in 2040, when Bharatiya people will be on moon, we will announce the vision 2047 from that there. So I think it
Fantastic.
would be very interesting. And
Absolutely.
yeah, how do you imagine stuff going on like in the future, in which maybe US is a lot weaker from right now, and maybe China is too, and India is getting a stronger influence over the Bharatiya Mahadvip, I guess, right?
Yeah, you can call that.
Up,
Yeah.
Up Mahadvip, something like that. So, what do you think? How the stuff will be organized? Because, like, I am primarily interested in the space aspect of things. So,
Hmm.
how the ISRO will be transcended in a more UN sort of situation, in
Hmm.
which we will be able to discuss things like how to colonize moon and other planets. So, like, do you think about these things, or how do you think the dharmic aspect will play in a future influenced by India in the space and exploration aspect?
I am not an expert in space exploration, etc., so I might not be the right person to comment on it. However,
Yeah, yeah,
broadly speaking, the if you look at the broader narrative that is going to be in place in the near future, especially after 2040s and so on, I really feel the cultural stories and our cultural heritage, etc., is going to be playing a major role. Um, right now, if you see a lot of fancy terms like ESG, etc., are being thrown around for sustainable growth and sustainable investments and all of that. But all of that has already been in our civilization, because dharma itself means sustainable, right? Something which sustains.
yeah.
So I think, broadly speaking, without having to like comment on space, etc., but I feel in a larger sense, um, right now we are in a phase where because of the Western narrative led world that we are in today, we definitely are in a hyper capitalistic society where profits over everything is the only thing that sort of is working today, right? Because of which a lot of things are not sustainable. The
Yeah.
societies are collapsing, the family values are collapsing. There is a emphasis on hyper individualism rather than families. So I think this is going to die a very quick death. In fact, I think we're just seeing that happening. Thanks to Mr. Trump also. I think that is going to go away, and I really feel that our sustainable economics. In fact, I really love the what Ankit has termed as Sanatan economics. I think that is
Yeah.
definitely going to be reality. Like, call it Sanatan economics, or if you want to use fancy English terms like sustainable economics, etc. I think deep down it boils down to our own cultural models of doing business. I think that is
Yeah.
going to take shape very quickly in the future, and I feel a lot of companies and a lot of business models will also be modeled around the new narratives that is taking shape.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are right now three phases of people, which are who are like stuck in any of them. The first
Hmm.
one is are still influenced by
Yeah.
the European narrative right
Hmm.
now, and
Hmm.
who are not able to understand that a second thing can also happen in the future apart from the mainstream thing.
Hmm.
Second type of people are those who do know about this stuff and like
Correct.
are just excited by this the things which will be happen.
Yeah.
For example, the people said Operation Sindoor or something like that won't
Hmm.
happen, and then it did
Hmm.
happen. And
Hmm.
like we are eagerly waiting for the second part, and it is not happening right now. It is getting very late, but we are
Yeah.
still hoping for it to. I personally am hoping to see Agni missiles. Anyway, not to comment on that. And I guess the main focus should be to understand the what is happening in the world right now as a part of narrative, and what will happen in the future, because I don't think many people do understand what will happen if Ankit Shah's prediction come right about, for example, the $3 1 rupee thing.
Hmm. See, I look at it in this perspective, right? So, if you see our parents' generation, or maybe even our grandparents' generation, for some people, that was a time when India was just stepping out of our independent, out of our freedom, independence, right? And it
Yeah.
was a very very hard time that our parents and our earlier past two generations had to endure, and for them it was very important to first and foremost survive, right?
Yeah.
um, and they did whatever they could in order to do that, or else, I mean, we should definitely be thankful for them in order to uh, because whatever they've done, only because of that we are able to thrive today, right? And when they had to survive, merely survive, they couldn't think of our culture and they couldn't think of our values and all of that, because those were secondary things for them. I think today we are at a place, at least a lot of Indians, at least we are at a position, the second and the third generation of Indians after the independence, I think we are at a stage where we no longer have to bother about survival, mere survival, right? Of course there's a lot
Yeah.
of poverty. I'm not saying it's easy, but at least a lot of people have come out of poverty, at least from whatever data we are getting, right? And when survival definitely is not a big challenge anymore, I really feel people will have some time to sort of explore our own cultural roots and our own heritage, which is what is happening. And in fact, thanks to social media, the cultural narratives and the right wing narratives and the correct part of history actually has come into forefront, which otherwise would never have come. So, in fact, I really feel that in some ways technology has in fact enabled us in a lot of different ways, which wouldn't have possibly happened if the rapid
This
the rapid development in technology that has happened due to the dollar itself, right? Because of the dollar and the free flowing money, a lot of innovations in fact it has empowered. Now it is time for us to use that same technology and turn it around and say, hey, okay, now we are going to use this technology and bring back our culture and civilization in a big way, because our civilization has always been a storytelling civilization, right? So if we lose our stories, we simply lose our civilization. It's as simple as that. So that, I think, is a direction that we need to be going ahead with. And
Yeah.
the Yeah, I'm so sorry. So the other point that you said about people, in spite of sort of having figured out the survival part, right? They still are behind the Western narratives, the Western lifestyle, and always behind money and uh, you know hyper capitalism, etc. I think that is a very very sad thing. But I really feel those people are going to realize very very soon. I'm seeing a lot of delusion with a lot of people, expecting nothing is going to happen, and US is the superpower and it will remain so. I don't think so. I mean, they might still remain whatever superpower is, but I think the major cultural narratives are getting shifted, and it is time that we reclaim that as we can.
Yeah, I mean, it is like if I'll explain it in a more better
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
I will be so called as an Ankit fanboy. But I mean, the subtle things like, for example, using of glasses in our home. It is a
Hmm.
very rudimentary thing, and I think it is like now if I think about it, it is very bad for us because we live in a hot environment.
Hmm.
And the second subtle thing, for example, the use of jeans, like the only
Yeah.
outdoor in uh, pant wear thing which I used to do was only jeans, and it was denim, which was again US thing. So
Hmm.
I have just started my MBA, so I am sworn to use the jeans sort of a thing, very minimal sort of a way.
Hmm.
I mean, there
Hmm.
are loads of examples about these things, and which are told by like after told by Ankiti, seems so uh, very logical in terms of first principles also.
Hmm. That's right.
Have you
That's
seen
right.
any examples in your life?
Yeah, I mean, to give my own example, in fact, what I do is when I go to whatever other, outside of rhythm, of course, any corporate meetings, I try my best to actually wear traditional costume.
Yeah.
So I try to wear dhoti and something like this as a kurta, and I see a lot of people perplexed. I don't see why they should be perplexed, because they feel that as something odd, right? But in fact, that is what originally we used to be, right? That's our original attire, for example. So
Yeah.
this is the sort of mindset that a lot of, unfortunately, even a lot of Indians are in today, right? They feel that if you don't know how to speak good English, you are not educated, or you're not wise. All such stupid things are very stereotypical, and I think those things definitely are going away. In fact, Ankit also has talked about regional languages coming in, and the use of English will be reducing. I agree with that, because education in common language is, in fact, helps a lot of people. It Just because you know English doesn't mean that you are a much smarter person or something like that. So I think those transitions are taking shape. I am also seeing a lot of Sanskrit speaking, push towards Sanskrit as well. At least where I am in Bangalore, I'm seeing a lot of groups. In fact, morning walking groups, weekend groups, etc., which meet up and they only converse in Sanskrit. So I'm seeing a massive, effort happening, in wherein we are returning back
Individual
to our own.
community.
Yes, yes, we are returning back to our own culture in a very, very good way. I think that is going to pick up pace very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I was like quite shocked when recent meeting between Putin and Modi. Putin's translator was speaking in Hindi.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if you observe, it happened apparently in the city Tianjin, which was occupied by several Western countries. So they deliberately did it in Tianjin. And also, not a single letter of English was there anywhere, including the signboards, etc. I mean, I think these are all subtle signals that we are already seeing, that shift in the narrative is happening very quickly. In fact, it's a very good time to be alive. We will obviously go through a lot of difficulties. It's not going to be easy, but I think when we are
Yeah.
out of it, probably 10 years down the line, it will be a completely different world.
Yeah. Talking about languages, have you seen the movie Arrival?
Yes, that's one of my favorite movies. In fact, it's a
Okay,
very
okay,
beautiful.
yeah. talking about the favorite thing a bit later, I just want to
Yeah,
emphasize that in that movie, basically, the concept is by knowing the language of the aliens, we humans are able to perceive time in their perspective.
that's right. Yeah.
And you can get to know like how much like the movie I have the tattoo
Oh,
for
oh,
it.
that's nice.
Yeah. So we'll talk about why that movie is awesome afterwards. But for me, basically, I have noticed in me like I
Mhm,
can only speak three languages. For example, Haryanvi, which is my I live in Haryana and all.
mhm,
Hindi, which is kind of my mother tongue, and in English, which I have learned in my school and all.
mhm,
So. I am able to see that I am a very different personality in all of these other languages. For example,
mhm,
I usually only speak Hindi
mhm,
sorts, and I don't really write in Hindi. Whenever I
mhm,
write or like journal, I do it in English, so all the
mhm,
thoughts are in English. But
mhm,
there are stuff which I only do it in Hindi, so like there
mhm,
is a bit of translation between them. And
mhm.
like recently we were doing a lot of manual labor sort of a thing, so I got very tired and I started speaking in like very not to say harsh but very regional Haryanvi. So
The
I
regional
noticed
dialects. Mhm,
I
mhm,
was a very different person in that.
mhm,
So that is why I think it is important to maybe speak Sanskrit ideally in future, maybe 10 or
mhm,
20 years. Like everyone
mhm,
should, it
mhm.
should be the main language, and the second one should be Hindi for like basic
Correct.
communication, and
Yeah.
the third one can be English, can be
Any regional
uh,
language.
Russian. No, obviously in the India only it can be regional language,
Yeah.
and but overseas it can be Japanese or Chinese or maybe
Right.
Russian.
Yeah,
So a
probably.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, in fact, recently, if you see one of the uh, carvings or inscriptions that was found in, I think, the big,
Egypt.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about Tanjavure's Brihadishwara temple, right?
Okay,
So
okay,
some of the inscriptions, I think they had not sort of very well recorded, and recently they did an effort, and they found out one particular very interesting scripture where they basically saw the lipi in Tamil, right? But the language was Sanskrit, right? And basically, what it had mentioned was that the then king of Kashi, basically had contributed towards building the Brihadishwara temple. So something like that.
okay.
I think the recent news, in fact, had come around this. Maybe I'll share the link with you later. So what this shows is, even in our ancient times, in spite of speaking different regional languages like Kannada, Tamil, Haryanvi, Hindi, and all of that, there was one common link language, which was Sanskrit, which was used throughout the country, right? Just the lipi was changed. So if I have to like speak with you in Sanskrit today, I probably write that lipi. I use the lipi as, let's say, Hindi, right? So similarly, I think the link language was always Sanskrit. I think that is what we need to bring back today. uh, I think I agree with a lot of things that you said. Number one, link language should be Sanskrit, and I don't think so it should be Hindi, because a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
ideally, I mean, for
yeah,
the conditions right now, it will be possible maybe after 20 years
correct,
because like
correct,
I
correct.
don't even know Sanskrit.
Yeah,
First
yeah,
can be
absolutely.
Hindi, I guess.
Correct.
Then
Yeah, first
Sanskrit and
it can be
replace it
Hindi. Yeah, because the population, the Hindi-speaking
instead of
population is
English.
huge.
Yeah.
Correct, correct, exactly. It could be Hindi, so that at least we are coming back to some what an Indian language, if not like completely classical language like Sanskrit, right? So I think that is the way to go. And in fact, a lot of local languages also will get a lot of importance, and um, in fact, what Ankit, I think, yeah, Amit Shahji has also told that in the future, whoever speaks English is going to look stupid. I think not maybe in the next 5-10 years, but definitely there will be a time pretty soon. In fact, maybe 2-3 decades where this will happen.
Yeah, according to Ankit ji, it is, I mean, 5 years after 2030.
Possible. I mean, we never know the way the speed in which things are changing. It could be possible.
Yeah. So yeah, talking about the fanboy moment for the movie Arrival, what do you like
Mhm.
in it?
So I feel the way they have, depicted, the aliens itself. So for me, alien is a very fascinating subject. I do
Yeah,
believe that there are other forms of intelligence out there. Um, so, but unfortunately, the kind of portrayal that a lot of popular movies, etc., have has done on this subject is very childish, right? So. Uh,
comical. Yeah,
yeah, very, very comical, which I don't think so is good. But in Arrival, they actually done a very good, portrayal of, how possibly our first interaction with outside intelligence, extraterrestrial intelligence could probably look like. So that is something that I really love about that movie. Um, I mean, obviously it's a fiction, but just the mere representation or the way it is portrayed, I think is beautiful. That is what I like about it.
yeah. For me, the sounds and all of the cinematography is, I mean, exceptional.
Yeah.
And basically, the idea is very inspiring to me personally,
Hmm.
because like I do have an interest in space and all, and the final aspect would be to understand time. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is a, and the main translation of the septapod language is there is no linear time. So
Hmm.
basically time is circular, so that's why I got it.
Got
Anyways,
it.
yeah, talking about I think you should also make stories about scenarios. For example, if we weren't colonized by Britishers and even the Mughals, how
Hmm.
would our I mean unification is sort of a bit, because before the Mughals, like they say, we were divided in different uh, kingdoms of kings. So
Hmm.
like there should be a story and a simulation sort of a thing in which that can be progressed into a timeline which we have right now. I mean, if you get my
Hmm.
point.
No, I understand. So essentially, what you're saying is, what if we were not colonized by any, foreign invaders, be it the Britishers
Yeah,
or be it the Mughals, etc. And if we just try to extrapolate that civilization that we had to the modern future, how it would have looked like. I think that's a very good, thought. It is very, very interesting, outcomes we could see from that. Um, yeah, I mean, I really feel, probably before Mughals, I am not an expert. By the way, a disclaimer: I'm not an expert in
yeah, yeah, sure.
history. I don't know a lot of these things, but at least from whatever little I know, definitely there were a lot of internal conflicts, right, between kingdoms and all of that. But I feel there was definitely a sense of unified Bharat
Yeah,
as a concept. That
Swaraj.
definitely was there. Yes, it was there. And whatever infighting and issues that these small kingdoms had with each other, probably would have been for resources, etc., which is understandable. But the underlying sense of being a Bharatiya, the underlying sense of having to subscribe to Vedas or maybe even Jainism or Buddhism, I think the what you call a Sanatana Parampara definitely was an underlying in the entire landmass across Bharat. I really feel that was there always, in spite of a lot of infighting, etc.
Yeah. I mean, so talking about the AI stuff, can you share a bit what was that in the video?
Okay, so the
Yeah,
idea
this one.
behind which one? Oh, this one.
This
Okay.
specific video. Yeah,
Oh, this is essentially the virtual reality walkthrough. So what you're essentially seeing is the screen recording of the entire, virtual reality experience that we have built. What you're looking at.
As
So
you
it's just a
stand
screen
before the
recording.
Gopuram, behold the
So
towering
yeah,
gateway that marks the transition from the
I
mundane.
can like I'll do
you can
this. Yeah,
possibly, yeah, you can just mute it. So what we have essentially done is this temple that you're seeing is inspired from almost 800-year-old temple in Tamil Nadu. So we
Okay.
have taken a lot of architectural elements from that temple, and we have put together a virtual temple. We built a virtual temple, like you see. And the moment you wear your virtual reality glasses, you instantly get transported to this world, and it's like a free roam thing. So you can walk around everywhere. You can, um in fact, go near certain architectural elements, and it will basically do some kind of guided narration. So it will tell you, hey, this is what is, for example, you are looking at Dvajastamba. So it basically explains you what is Dvajastamba, what does it signify, what is the purpose behind it, etc., etc. Right? If you can just scroll a little bit further, maybe if you can go
Yeah,
to
one
around,
sec.
yeah, 3 minute mark. Yeah. So, yeah. So here what you're seeing is, this is an example, like the potential of what we could be building, right? So this is
Yeah.
where you're actually picking up this ghantam, right? Ghante, as we call it in the south, a bell essentially, and you are actually ringing it. So you actually have to pick it up in the virtual space, and you actually do this action in order to make that ring. So there is that kind of immersive interactivity that we have been able to build, right? Which sort of acts as a very interesting layer, which feels very real, in fact. So the idea here is to make use of this sort of experiences. We want to build similar experiences for all popular temples across India. So that's our sort of grand vision. And ideally, you'll be seeing our experience outlets in all major temple towns and the spiritual centers, in all major temple cities, etc., wherein you can walk in and you can actually sit there and experience all major temples across India. The one differentiator, sort of, that we have tried to build in, one very unique thing is that if you in real life go to any temple, right, today, for example, if you go to Ayodhya, you probably will
Hmm.
not be able to look at the deity for more than 15-20 seconds. They will just ask you to move ahead because there's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
I went in February and I got I
Yeah,
guess 5 to 6 seconds.
absolutely right. And that's the same case for all popular temples. And you never get a chance to get close to the deity, right? Only the archaka or the pujari over there is allowed to go near the deity and perform rituals. But our idea is, what if you can experience it yourself, right? So that is a sort of a demonstration that we have built even in this, wherein you can actually walk inside the Garbhagudi or the Garbhagraham, where the
Yeah.
temple deity resides. And you can do certain rituals, like you can do arati, you can do abhishekam, and you can in fact sit down and meditate. There will be a very nice narrative, there will be a storytelling experience that is happening within the VR space, etc. This is what we have sort of tried to demonstrate. We are refining this technology pipeline, and the hope is to create very, very rich, much more immersive experiences for all temples across India.
Okay, do you think the bhavita of the temple or the presence of maybe an entity can be
Yeah,
felt through a VR thing? And
absolutely.
would it,
Yeah,
yeah, would it be possible with, I guess, interstellar level or arrival level, what do you say, sound?
yeah. No, no, absolutely. So the sound design, so
Yeah, yeah, sound design. Yeah.
the entire point of virtual reality is to completely immerse you and give you multi-sensory experience, right? So you have the
Yeah.
audio, you have the very rich visual, and you have the interactivity, right? And in the near future, you'll also have apparently gloves that you can wear where you can feel the textures of the
Haptic.
objects, haptic. So I don't know about that, how when it is going to come, but at least what we have built so far, this is a real experience that I'm talking about. In fact, we had been to Swarajya Conclave recently, where we sort of demonstrated what we've built to a lot of dignitaries, including Kapil Sharma ji, the minister in Delhi. We saw a lot of people, in fact, experience this, and without unconsciously, like do namaskaram like this. Right? They're wearing the headset. They're in front of the Shivalingam, and then they're doing this. And I've seen one person literally cry. So I think it is possible. The technology enables you to do that, because it feels very, very real, right? Probably once you get adjusted in that environment for probably a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
you really cannot differentiate that from reality.
I'll decrease the audio if you like.
Yeah, sure.
Base. Yeah. Also, I think the bhavita can be captured in a better way with photogrammetry also, right?
Yes, photogrammetry is
Instead of
actually
like modeling each and every
correct.
detail
Instead of modeling, absolutely,
and
photogrammetry is the way
weathering
to
it.
go. Correct,
Yeah.
correct. In fact, some of the future projects that we're building is based on a lot of assets which are built using photogrammetry technology. We have a few in-house experts who have this expertise in photogrammetry, and we are building some experiences. One of which I don't want to reveal a lot, but one of the things that we're building is a very interesting Kurukshetra experience, uh,
Okay.
wherein you wear the headset and you basically are sitting behind Krishna in the chariot. You are playing the role of Arjuna basically. So we intend to summarize the whole of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, it is not possible to
Yeah,
accurately
definitely.
summarize everything, but at least give the the viewer an experience of being there and experiencing that world of Kurukshetra, the world of that battle and all the noises, and ultimately ending with the Vishwarupa Darshanam. And what the AI part is going to do is basically it will enable the interaction with Krishna. So you can actually speak with Krishna and he will speak back to you.
I
And we
mean,
will.
you will make people cry, I guess, if you do reveal the.
No, absolutely. In fact, the recent reel that we put out is has a glimpse, some glimpses of what we are building. Actually, we just I think yesterday we put out that reel, so we're working closely on that. And I don't know the deadlines, I mean timelines, but probably sometime early next year we should be able to release.
This one, right?
Yeah, this is the thing.
Yeah, I think you will have to work on the NPC AI collaboration also, I guess, because if
Correct.
they will be pujaris and all, they would explain certain things, but it would be a lot of fun if it would be
Correct.
interactive, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So NPCs are obviously going to be a major part of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine the excitement of people when we see this sort of thing. I think you should also add Easter eggs. For example, like when I went to basically I went to a backpacking trip whole month of February, in
Mm-hmm.
which in the first 2 weeks I was going from Varanasi to Prayagraj, the Kumbh Mela, and then
Mm-hmm.
Ayodhya, and then I
Mm-hmm.
went to 2 weeks Vipassana.
Okay.
So, so in the starting, when we were in the Varanasi, and we
Mm-hmm.
had to go in the Shiv temple. I forgot the name sometimes.
The Kashinath
Yeah, Kashi Vishwanath temple.
Vishwanath. Yeah.
Basically, what thought I felt was a deep presence of maybe Shivji behind my back, sort of a way, because like I knew it would be a very long line of sorts, and I was scouting the possible timings in which I can get in and not
Mm-hmm.
maybe stand much longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I got to know that the morning from the Ganga side would be the best place.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got with my group of friends, and they called a few friends who thought would be able to get in with a person of their contacts.
Mm-hmm.
So we started like we gave our bags and phones and all the cash in the opposite side, opposite gate, the
Mm-hmm.
entry gate in the road,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like clueless on what will happen and all. And we discussed beforehand to like give the money afterwards. We have done the darshan to the agent of sorts, but I don't know why they gave money beforehand only. and
Mm-hmm.
we walked from there to the the Ganga place, the Ganga gate, and then we went in. But it was very late. I mean, I was planning to do it at 6 a.m. so that I can got off afterwards. But we started at 8, and
Mm-hmm.
like 2 or 3 hours we were waiting to get in and do the main aarti.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew we would get a very less time, so our group had 5 people, and uh, I pushed in front of us the friends which were having the basket.
Mm-hmm.
So in like giving the basket and like exchanging that stuff, we were able to stand there for a greater while. But basically, from what I felt afterwards was understanding, or like a lesson, deliberate lesson to each and every person in the group. And for me personally was to be more vocal about my thoughts and my decisions and my opinions, to like
Mm-hmm.
go at the Ganga gate only.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think you should add these type of Easter eggs in the game play, or maybe the experiential play which you will be able to do.
Absolutely. I think a lot of gaming design elements will come in here because the main platform that we're using is Unity and Unreal.
Yeah,
So it will literally be like a game, but we don't want to like portray it as a game. Uh,
yeah,
it is
experiential
more of
story.
an experience. Exactly, it's more of an experience that we want to like deliver within a short period of time. Obviously, there is a lot of scope to add a lot of Easter eggs. I mean, the movies and the TV series that we see, they've all been doing this Easter eggs. It's a very nice little concept. I think because we are so culturally rich, I think we will never run out of Easter eggs. So
Yeah, yeah, Dharmic Easter eggs.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about lastly AI generation,
Hmm.
do you like plan to do it even more in the future? And like, do you use it as a tool, or maybe like people can
Hmm.
debate on this stuff that indigenous things should be made by designers only and not AI? So like, how do you counter that? And like,
Yeah.
what aspects do AI handle in your design stuff?
Yeah. So for us, almost 80% of the stuff that we do, at least whatever we're doing right now, is AI. Right? In fact, even 3D modeling has gotten a lot better with using AI.
Yeah,
Obviously, it doesn't do the 100% of the work. Probably 70-80% of the work it can definitely handle, and it definitely helps us save a lot of time. Right. And see, there is, of course, involvement of a human, whenever we are trying to do creative direction or designing a character, etc., in 3D modeling, etc. Definitely, there is a need still. Like not everything AI can handle right now, right? But what we intend to do is, first of all, the narration of narrative that you need to be doing everything on your own without using AI. I really feel you should not, right? Because technology is there for helping you out, right? So I think it is better that we use it to our own benefit, right? But the problem that I'm seeing here is because AI is sort of democratizing content creation with a lot of people, right? So anybody today can just go and create a prompt, and using that prompt, they can generate a video or an image or whatever.
yeah,
Um, because of that, what we are risking is authenticity, like I've been saying, right? So because the masses, I feel, like do not really care about authenticity, right? All they care about is that visual experience and how cool it is and so on, right? Because of that, what is happening, our original stories, our original content, our the way it has to be portrayed according to our scriptures, that is not happening, right?
yeah,
Which is the again the risk of AI. Now coming to how we are trying to inculcate AI, in fact we have a vision, and as well as a product roadmap that we are putting in place for Vṛtam Studios, wherein we'll be building something called Rhythm AI Labs. That's going to be a separate platform entity, right? Which is going to build AI platforms which are going to be trained on our cultural content, right? And this
yeah,
cultural content or the cultural knowledge base is going to come from our partner organizations like Brihat and other organizations who are in fact doing yeoman service in the domain of preserving knowledge and also disseminating knowledge. So we'll be
Okay.
using all the databases from them, and we'll be building our own models, right? And the idea is in the next 1 to 1.5 year, the roadmap that we have kept is that we would be having um, video generation models, image generation models, and in fact, we're trying to do word generation models using our own AI models, which is trained on cultural data. So when that happens, I think that is going to open up, a lot of possibilities for cultural creators, because that is going to be cultural content rich. So the context will be very, very culturally rich because we have trained on that data instead of whatever we have right now. So that is our vision for AI.
Yeah. I mean, can you sit in the center a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think the AI stuff is very vast, and we do need a Sanskrit based model of AI and not an
Mm-hmm.
English one to understand our stuff better. And
Mm-hmm.
even before the chat GPT came into existence, there is a website called AI Dungeon,
Mm-hmm.
in which you can write stories in a like a narrative sort of a way, in a world
Mm-hmm.
building sort of a way. So I
Mm-hmm.
think you should use that and maybe develop that also in a dharmic perspective, so that people can play with stories also and write things.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's exactly the point, right? So it's essentially going to be it is going to evolve as a platform which content dharmic or cultural content creators can use. Think of it like how we have Canva today, for example, right? So Canva
Yeah.
today, you can design content, and you can basically do some basic animations and all of that for social media. Now, what if we build an alternative to Canva, but not just limited to 2D content, but also for immersive content, right?
Yeah,
And
3D.
exactly, for augmented reality and VR as well, and giving them access to AI models, AI agents, and basically to portray characters using the AI platform. So you can basically generate videos, characters, animations, etc., which are trained based on our cultural content. So, for example, Rama, right, has been described, having very specific set of qualities, right? So there is a very popular in the beginning itself, Valmiki describes. I mean, not Valmiki. I think Narada describes who is, he explains to Valmiki who is worthy of, write. I want to write a story on a person who is worthy of writing. So
Yeah.
he speaks about different qualities of Rama, basically, right? So what if we can use all this data, that is, the way Rama is described, the way, the personality, the physical aspects of Rama, the qualities of Rama, etc., and there can be an AI model, right, AI agent, which basically has been trained on all these characteristics, and then when you speak, it basically uses all those context, and then it replies to you back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that is the sort of deep work that we are intending to do here.
Yeah, I mean, from what I get is you do need to make a personality AI of a Rama and can give him access to multiple projects. And maybe if a person wants to write a story, including him, he can maybe use him, apply different constraints and all filters, and build something out of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? This also, has an offshoot. Once we have all these characters built in, and
Yeah,
different agents built in, which is trained on our cultural content, uh, this can in fact power a very nice, modern age Gurukul kind of a thing. Be it in the virtual reality, or maybe even on multimodal, like maybe in the browser or whatever you can access,
yeah,
right? So that, I think, is a very powerful outcome, because we can actually bring back all our, what they call as 64 vidyas or 64 kalas that we had. Imagine
yeah,
all of them. You can at least try and learn or try and understand the significance of all of that in a virtual Gurukula with all these characters, that you have access to. And in fact, if you put in place some kind of reinforcement learning technologies, basically it can understand you, right, as a personality. Right? The more you interact with the agent or the character, it can understand you better, and it will basically customize, like hyper personalized and hyper customized content is what it can deliver you in real time. So that is also something which we can explore. Something
Yeah,
like
I
a
mean,
Hindu verse.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like talking about the Gurukul thing also, and the learning aspect, we can
Mhm.
also have a like a AI agent for all the four Vedas, and then an AI agent for Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, and
Mhm.
maybe in a normal class, online or offline, it is up to them.
Mhm.
Gurukul class, we can call like a guest lecture of sorts uh, with Vishnuji, and maybe talk about what happened and all. I mean, the
Correct. Yeah,
wisdom, like
absolutely.
it would be have to be a very fine tuned model, but I think it is
Correct.
possible, and it
It
would
is
be.
possible. It is definitely possible. That's the thing, right? So the technology, if used properly, like you can build things that like literally feels like magic. So what you told is a wonderful use case actually. Like if you have want to like bring in Vishnuji as, let's say, a guest lecture, that would be such a fun thing to do.
I mean, and like imagine the conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, you can deliberate on different systems of philosophy, for example, right? So, we have a very rich culture around a culture of philosophy. So, we have the Dvaita Vedanta, the dualism, or the Advaita Vedanta, monoism, and Vishishta Advaita, and all of that. And not just three, there are several other offshoots of these three as well. So, you can dive into these, very deep philosophical conversations which you can have with these characters. Imagine talking to Shankaracharya ji on Dvaita Vedantam, right? And you have a lot of questions, and you can respond back with all the different references. That is practically possible today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people have not worked on it, but it is possible. For example, like we have a version of Ramji, and
Mhm.
there is a guest lecture about only weapon usage.
Hmm.
So we
Right.
just apply a filter, and on the top of it, it has a basic introduction. So we
Correct.
are able to ask only that question. Then if people ask like why did you kill Ravan and all, so he can answer like it is not like to discuss today. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
again, there are many possibilities to talk about this.
Correct.
And
Correct.
if I do end up making some money out of Vārtalāap, I would definitely invest in it.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So not talking about studios right now. Tell me about your education. Like you have done IIM and
No. So I did my computer science engineering here in Bangalore, and post that I didn't want to like get into a formal job, right, a corporate job. So in fact, I was placed in Infosys and Wipro as a part of my college campus placement. So I didn't want to like get into a corporate because I really wanted to explore entrepreneurship. Because I always had that thing in me that I want to do something on my own, and I basically I realized that in the first 3 to 4 years after graduating, if I can't explore, I can never explore because of all the responsibilities that I probably get in the future. So I right away dived into entrepreneurship. I didn't know anything. So the first sort of the internship that I did was with one company called Fixnix, right? Where I think as a big data engineer in Fixnix, and from there I sort of got lucky because I was shifted to Mumbai. There was one hackathon which was happening in Mumbai, and in that
okay,
hackathon I met my co-founder, so Mr. Uday. So he and me, we got together and we started this UPI payments company that's called SuperPay. So we ran that for around 5 to 6 years, and just 2.5 years back, it got acquired. It was a UPI payments application like your Google Pay or Phone Pay, which is what we had built. And we didn't know how to, we were just a bunch of kids, but luckily, Kotak Mahindra Bank trusted us, so they became our partner. And from there, we got NPCI on board, and we built this app. And
okay,
so that is how the journey started. And then while I was doing that, I really wanted to explore what is this entire management about, because a lot of people are doing MBAs and so on. So before I went into full-time MBA. I wanted to explore a few other courses which were being offered by IIMK. So I did a general management program with IIM Kozhikode. Uh, and right now I am working with Zienmart, where I am heading the logistics business on ONDC. So we are
Okay.
a logistics network participant on ONDC, where we provide logistics services, aggregation services to a lot of companies.
Okay. So why I specifically asked this question is basically I have started my MBA, as I told you,
Mm-hmm.
from SRM Delhi NCR. It
Mm-hmm.
is an average college, but I'm planning to do it in marketing and logistics
Mm-hmm.
if it is possible. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
like you have done from IIM. Any advice, any brief advice for me?
To be very honest, don't take me wrong, but I think any management course today is useless. To be very honest.
I know.
It is only needed if you are serious in making use of that certificate that they give you to land a job. Then maybe yes, it's a good idea for you. But if you are somebody who is a self starter and you want to like explore things on yourself and you want to like get into entrepreneurship and so on, I don't think so. You need any fancy MBA or anything like that, because it doesn't add any specific knowledge that you require. Because if you ask me, entrepreneurship requires a broad set of skills, right? If you are a generalist, you are more suited to actually be an entrepreneur. So you need not be I am specifically trained in one particular. You need not be an expert at one thing. So you need a broad set of skills, right? And most importantly, people management skills is what you need, because you need to
Yeah.
like, before you even convince your customer, you need to convince your team that hey, we are building something good, and they need to stick with you. That is, I think, what is very very difficult at the initial stages of any company, for that matter. So to keep it short, I don't think so MBA is useful unless you want to actually get a job.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point, and I am doing it. Maybe for a job, maybe to improve myself, but it is the thing I'm doing right
Yeah, but
now.
don't expect
Uh,
anything out of it. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
say.
I already know that the
Yeah,
situation afterwards, so I
yeah,
have plans to do it.
got it.
Uh, yeah, so it was a lovely conversation, and lastly, I just want to ask you any comments, any criticism, any questions for me, Vārtalāap and all.
No, I mean, absolutely, man. You're doing a good job bringing out a lot of unknown faces on your YouTube channel. I've seen quite a few very interesting conversations on your YouTube channel. I think the thing is, keep doing what you're doing. It was a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed it. Uh, One thing is what I would like to like say while we are closing is I am seeing a lot of young desperate people who are just graduating and out of college, right? Especially engineering graduates. um, right now, you know the situation, right? So the IT jobs are uh, no longer,
Non-existent.
yeah, virtually non-existent right now because of AI.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing, which is a very sad state of affairs, is that in spite, I know not a lot of people have the capability to build something on their own, like explore entrepreneurship. It's not in fact recommended for everybody, because obviously it's a very very difficult thing to do, especially if you are having debt, or if you have certain family situations, etc. But the thing is, I am seeing a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge, in fact, right? And they're very very well comfortably placed in their life. They are not enterprising at all, which is a very sad thing. I have a lot of people
Comfort
in my own,
zone.
yeah, so they just get behind comfort zone. They are addicted to their salaries, basically, right? This, I think, is what needs to change, man. So I don't know how, but we need to get that enterprising attitude of Indians back, which is what is like severely required right now. They're in fact saying, Mr. Trump, I don't know if it's fake news or not. They're saying it's fake news, but if he's going to like put in tariffs on our IT services, millions of people will be
Yeah,
out of jobs.
he's planning to. I mean, it is a
Yeah,
rumor only, but he is
yeah.
planning to.
If suppose that happens, then I think it is, it'll then become imperative that all these kids who are out there, desperate for jobs, I think they need to get into manufacturing, learn the hard skills, or probably if you're in a comfortable position, explore entrepreneurship, because India needs enterprising right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We can go all in all about how IT became the mainstream and
Yeah.
the supply and demand thing, and why. And it is not only an AI; it is a more of a supply issue, I guess, a
Right.
surplus of supply. So I guess we'll talk about that. We'll have a Vārtalāap on
Sure.
this in
Yeah.
another episode. Thank
Yeah.
you for this. It was a lovely episode. I hope you did learn something from this also.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for this, Yash. It was really lovely speaking with you, and I can't wait to speak with you soon.
Yeah, yeah. So you
Sure.
can wait in the room. I'll
Yeah,
pause in the recording. Yeah.
sure.